Welcome to Preparing for the Unexpected. Once again, I'd like to welcome Mark Hoffman from NSS Consulting and the Resilience Journey podcast. Mark, welcome back.
Thanks, Alex. It's always good. Always a pleasure to be here.
It is, it is. I always learn something from talking with you. And actually, I want to build on something that you said near the end of the last time we talked. And that was the strategic thinking for resilience professionals. We have to
Yeah.
look at things on a strategic level. So it got me thinking of, which is why I wanted to record this, is that there seems to be now two streams in our industry. The traditional practitioner side, the BIAs, the BCPs, tabletops, et cetera, et cetera. We know the groups that are involved on that side. But
Mhm.
then there's a strategic aspect we have to incorporate, and we may or may not be ready for that. What are your thoughts?
No, I think you're right. And initially, when you mentioned this to me, I was quite concerned about this divide that you were talking about. But then it occurred to me, in other jobs, there are different levels of those jobs. We have junior accountants and then, the accounting managers and people with a lot more experience or whatever that turns out to be. And that might not have been the best example. But I think it's also true about the resilience industry. We've been around as an industry for a while, and I think it's time that it is maturing into multiple levels of roles. And it's okay if we were to have a business continuity or resilience analyst who was maybe focusing on doing some of the other things. And I can't blame people who are relatively new to the industry for not having that strategic view yet. And the key word to that is yet, because whether today is your first day in resilience or you've been doing this for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, or whatever, it is time to start looking at things more broadly, looking at bigger problems than we've ever had to deal with before. Think about the traditional business continuity plan. Oh, what if we lose our building? What if we lose our systems? Then we started looking at, well, what if we lose our suppliers? What if we lose our people? Okay, that's fine. But you got to look, let's talk about, geopolitics, tariffs, the impact of, higher costs on the business. One of the things that I like to say to people is, look, anything that's an existential threat to the organization should be a business continuity and resilience topic. So, for example, I love to talk about this poor process. If you are hemorrhaging money or always coming up with like really poor on time delivery because your processes stink, that is a potential business continuity issue. It's a potential business existence issue, and it is yours to get into. And I think it's really, really important for us as resilience professionals to grow a set. Am I allowed to say that on your show?
Sure.
To be more assertive and to step in and do things. And it really frustrates me when people are too timid to step out of that traditional box and look at things like this.
Yeah, I agree. That's what got me thinking is that it seems like we are creating a new stream, two streams, the traditional BIA, BCP, et cetera, and the new strategic thinking stream, which for the most part will be people, as you said, that have been around for quite a while. They have to grow as well. And eventually, some of these newer people that are doing BIAs will start to see how that links to the strategic thinking so that we can grow. Because I remember
Right.
the days when BCP as a concept was introduced before Y2K. I remember
Yep.
sitting through a BCI session, so, been around. We have, as you explained, we have been growing.
Right. That's right. No, it's time to do that. Now, here's the thing. A lot of our colleagues find themselves on teams of one where they're the only person that's there. So they already have their own resource constraints, they already have their own challenges, and now I'm going to add to it. In a situation like that, you have to wear both hats. You have to, excuse me, think about the day-to-day operation. but then you also need to go out and start to think more strategically.
Yeah,
It's must do. It's not optional.
right. And that's where you develop those partnerships within your organization with your risk manager or somebody like that, or your, your if you get to know your VP or something like that, to create those relationships so that you have that pathway to bring that information forward.
100%. And that's why it's important to know enough about the adjacent disciplines around us to be able to have meaningful conversations about them. I'm not a cyber expert, but I know enough about cyber to be able to go over and talk to the CISOs and understand. I'm not a privacy expert, but I can talk to the privacy officers and understand it. And it's not just limited to those adjacent disciplines, but operations, finance, human resources, all of the things that matter to your organization. You need to be able to have business smart, right? Business hyphen smart conversations with the subject matter experts and look at risks through their lenses too.
Yeah, agreed. That's a great point to end on. Thanks, Mark. I knew it would be an interesting conversation, and it'd be interesting to see what kind of comments we get back on this one.
Always a pleasure. Good talking to you.
Thanks, Mark. Take care.